What's up, everybody? We are back for round four, I guess. Yeah, round four of the Christmas draft challenge. This time we are drafting Shadowmoor. Uh, our opening pack here is not great. There actually aren't very many exciting cards at all. Steal the Godhead, I think is the most powerful card in the pack. Honestly, it's one of about four playables. Safehold Elite, Mud Brawler guy, and Sootstoke Kindler are probably the only other cards that I would ever even want in my deck. Torture, I guess, but I hate black in this format. I'm going to take the Steal of the Godhead. It's not nearly as good in SSE as it was in Triple Shadowmoor, but there's still a lot of upside there, I think. And we get past the Barrington guy and Watchwing Scarecrow, I guess, are the best cards to follow up Steal of the Godhead. The other options would be Scuzzback Marauders. Giant Baiting is playable, but we would never take it over Scuzzback Marauders. Honestly, I'm not excited about trying to go down this path. I would kind of rather dip my toe into red. Mono red is the archetype I've had the most success with in this format, so rather than take a fairly unexciting card like one of these two, I'm just going to take the Scuzzback Marauders here, and this way I have basically two completely different paths to potentially follow. If the signals coming for the rest of this pack indicate I should be in red or in green or in red-green, I can follow that, but if they lead me back to the Steal of the Godhead, I will abandon the Scuzzback Marauders. And where do they take me? What does this card even do? Yeah, I'm not excited about that. Thistledown. Thistledown Duo is one of the best of all possible guys to put a Steal of the Godhead on, so that's, I think, probably going to be the pick for me. Somnomancer is also a pretty sweet guy. Not really anything for red or green. This guy cost $1 million. This guy likewise. So yeah, we're going to take the Thistledown Duo. Shadowmoor's kind of it's a weird set in that it looks like we're drafting blue-white or red-green. We're really just drafting white or maybe blue, or maybe red or maybe green. So quite a lot of flexibility left even still. These picks could very easily lead us to like blue-red or like white-green even. So we're still very, very open to signals. That's one of the fancy things about Shadowmoor is that you often it's not really in your best interest to decide in any permanent sense what colors you're drafting until even into pack 3 most of the time. Not really anything exciting to see here. This guy's not great. This card is actually pretty good, so I think we are just going to follow up with the second Scuzzback Marauders. It's kind of a waffle, but again, there's not really anything else in the pack, and it pays to be flexible in Shadowmoor. I say that as if I'm like super experienced in the format. I've actually drafted, second Steal of the Godhead. This card may not be actually as good as I thought it was, but I think it's pretty good. We do have at least one good target for it already. I haven't drafted a whole lot of this set, actually. This Shadowmoor was the first set that was released after Magic Online version 3. If you weren't around for that, Magic Online version 3, Magic Online basically just didn't work there for a couple of months. It was not a smooth transition by any means. So it was a great time to be finding something else to do with your time other than draft. So that's what I did. Here the Sootstoke Kindler is certainly playable if we go down like the mono red or nearly mono red plan, but I'm gonna keep following this for now, I think. Yeah, I did. I kind of forced myself to do several triple Shadowmoor drafts to prepare for Grand Prix Indy that year, but after that, I basically never touched the format again. So I've drafted Shadowmoor Eventide maybe like 5 times in my life, and all of those have been kind of throwbacky things in the last couple of years. So I'm not like super familiar with this set, but I think I have a reasonable enough handle on it. Tattermunge Duo is probably Probably the only card in this pack we would play, so we'll snap it up. Yeah, color sort helps a lot in this set. And what is this one? The Persist Taste guy. That does us no good. Not really seeing anything exciting here. I guess this is a playable trick. Don't actually see myself playing anything in this pack. So yeah, it kind of looks like we're drafting two completely different decks here. We will eventually settle on one, I guess. So we need to, with two Steal the Godhead now, we basically need to take every available opportunity to snap up a creature that's both blue and white. Of which I don't see any. Kinscare Harpoonist is a playable creature. Farhaven Elf is a playable creature, so we could... And Nivius Wisps and Embergale are also both totally playable. I think I'm gonna take the... Yeah, I think Kinscare Harpoonist is it's the most powerful card of those remaining. So it's our first like single color commitment. We could still end up in blue white proper, or of course blue red or blue green. Here, this is Stoke Kindler tabled. That guy is fine in a heavy red deck. I think that's what we're going to take here. Options are certainly still open, but this guy is pretty sweet if you have him in play on turn 5 when you play Scuzzback Marauders, and is also just a good man on curve. Nothing to see here. Don't know that this card does anything. I guess it's kind of a finisher, so I'll snap it up. It's the only thing that's actually on color anyway for me. Well, or this, which I'm not excited about. This card came back around. I feel like there were actually 2 of these in the pack, so it doesn't mean much to me. Rattleblaze Scarecrow is still not really any good. If we were going to play a 6-drop in a red deck, I guess I would probably play this one. I'm not going to play a 6-drop in my red deck, but that's okay. And yeah, we're basically in the dregs. I guess I will just rare draft at this point. Maybe. Does this card do anything? Really, really expensive, but might be good. I have no use for an impromptu raid, that's for sure. Crimson Wisps, that one is playable. This guy. I guess the green part of this guy is not actually that exciting. You really want red cards to enable him. Which we have some of. Alright, we have a land, which is not anything special for us. Murderous Redcap is a sweet one, and one that I think we're probably going to take out of this pack. The options beyond that are not super inspiring. Bribery Cohort is a pretty good man, and obviously these guys are all playable, but you would never take them over the Murderous Redcap. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're kind of looking at this point like we're going. Let's see, if we tried to go mono red or close to it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the 5 playables. I guess that's not very many. So like blue red, 1, 2. I guess both the Steel of the Godheads make it. They may not, depending on how many more of these type of cards we collect. So, and then red white still on the table as well. It'll really kind of depend on what shows up in Eventide. There's a Fire Spout. Okay, that's a pretty easy pick for us. Fire Spout is a very, very good card. So yeah, it's definitely looking like red is a color that we are in for sure at this point. So I'm trying to think if there's anything up here we could actually go ahead and cut. So we almost certainly won't play this or this, so I guess I could cut those, although that... I guess those are in theory playable. I'm going to go ahead and cut this as well. So it may look later like we don't have enough playables when we actually have those super trashy late game cards. But yeah, I guess all of these could potentially make the deck. All right. Sticking on the mono red path, Intimidator Initiate and Mud Brawler Cohort are both fine in an aggressive red deck. We haven't seen any blue-eyed hybrid creatures this pack, so these Steels of the Godhead are not looking as powerful as they could be, I don't guess. But our options here would be to take Sootwalkers. I think Sootwalkers is probably better than these two. Intimidator Initiate may actually be better than Sootwalkers, but or if we could take a white card and see if we ended up playing it. Last Breath, I'm pretty sure, is generally better than Safehold Sentry, although if we're going aggressive mono red, the drawback on Last Breath could be significant. I think, yeah, I'm just going to take a red guy. Colt Brand Cinder is very good, and I think this is the best red card in the pack. Unfortunately, the red cards we've drafted so far are not especially aggressive. They're kind of more like a typical mid-range draft deck in terms of curve. We just have the 1/2 drop, who's not even that great. But that's okay. There are all the mimics and various things. There are a lot of 2 drops in Eventide, I believe. So, not really anything else to see here. Shield of the Oversoul is a sweet one, but we don't really have anything to put it on to get maximum value. Yeah, we're just gonna continue taking the red guys. Okay, there's a Scuttlemutt. Scuttlemutt's a sweet one, and is almost certainly better than Scar for this deck. Marrow Wavebreakers is also very good if the blue-red path is actually where we end up, but Scuttlemutt will almost certainly make our deck 100% of the time. He actually makes the Steels of the Godhead a lot better as well, so we can put them on anything and make them blue and white creatures if we show desire. So I think, yeah, it's not close. We're taking Scuttlemutt here. Another Sootstoke guy, if it comes to that, and it looks like it does. There's not really anything else in the pack that we would want. Sure. Alright, so we've gotten more direction in the second pack. We know we're red for sure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Could potentially actually just end up mono red. Excuse me. But we still have these. If that actually opens up for whatever reason, what does this card do? Okay. Not terrible, I don't guess, but okay, this gets pumped on black cards, so that's not where we need to be at all. Think we're just taking another Hill Giant. Wow, okay. Did not see that coming. Alright, so nearly mono red is pretty much guaranteed now. We will bend over backwards to play as many mountains as possible. So into the stack you go. Huh. That is interesting. What was that, an 8th pick? So reknit. Okay, we can axe reknit now. Probably, honestly, we could probably axe all of these. I don't know that we have any particular interest in supporting these cards at this point. Maybe we'll leave them there for now, but looking more and more likely that we're going to play mono red if at all possible. We have so many of these guys already. So we can basically have our choice of another Hill Giant, Blistering Dyflin, who is fine, but kind of clunky. We can get a 1-drop. I think we're just going to take another Hill Giant here. I don't think we have any. I mean, that would have been another way to give this guy Forest Walk, but I think there are many more white creatures that block in this set that block well in the set than blue ones. So I think so. Walkers was the pick there over the other one. Nothing to see here. Sure, this gains life. We'll hate draft it. All right. Mudbrawler Cohort on the wheel. Yeah, we need 2-drops for this deck. I would love to play an Elsewhere Flask to make sure that Jaws of Stone gets in for the full damage, but not over a Mudbrawler Cohort, which will certainly make our deck. So we're fairly short on removal, I guess. We have a Red Cap and a Colt-Brand Cinder. Jaws of Stone is, well, it's obviously removal. It's more like a huge Lava Axe, Wrath of God sweepery thing. I don't know. Calling it removal is sort of underselling it, but obviously we have that and Fire Spout. But other than that, I would love to see would have loved to have seen like a Puncture Bolt or something like that, but. In the way of cheap targeted removal, we're still lacking, unfortunately. I'm not sure what all there is in Eventide. Flame Jab we would love. Puncture Blast is pretty good, and is common, I think. Sure, I guess we'll play Manamorphose, maybe. We don't have any untappy things, so yeah, Manamorphose it is. don't see much value in that. Don't really see much value in this either, but I don't think either would actually make our deck, but this is more likely to, I suppose. Yep. Guess we'll rare draft here. I think I already have 2 Poison the Wells that I've already hidden. This is a... Huh. This guy might actually make our deck. I hope he doesn't, but he is generally just going to be a 3/3 haste for 5, which is not the worst deal in the world. Alright, what did we get? There is a Flame Jab, which I think is the pick here. The other option would be Battlegate Mimic. Battlegate Mimic is a little beater, which we do have. We certainly do need, but I think that we need removal more. Removal and Flame Jab is actually kind of a finisher in its own right. It provides inevitability in a way, so yeah, I think Flame Jab is the pick here. These guys are not on color for us, I don't think. Well, this one is, but that one's not actually that good. Yeah, not really anything else to see here. This card is pretty filthy. Unfortunately, not something that we can support. And Everstrike, not even actually sure what this card does. Looks like a lot of work. I don't think it's something that we could enable, even if we did end up red-white, which is a real possibility, actually. Ooh, Noblesse of War. Sure, this guy's sweet. Alright, a lot of options here. Fire at Will, Battlegate Mimic. This guy I don't think is that great, but we could support it as well. But yeah, I don't think any of those other options actually hold much of a candle to the Noblesse. The Noblesse I think is actually the worst of all of these of the God cycle, I guess, but that doesn't mean he's not sick. I'm happy to play him here. And then we get Kragpuka is a good man. What else do we have? Noggle Bandit is an unblockable guy who's sweet. Heartlash Cinder is a pretty sweet 2-drop. Yeah, if you play him on turn 2, he's just he attacks for 2 with haste on turn 2, and that's effective. But as the game goes late, he can give a guy like plus 12 or something absurd like that, particularly in a deck like this. So yeah, the choice. We just have the 3 2-drops. We would like a lot more. We don't actually have. We actually just have, I guess, 2 or 3 drops as well. So the choice is between these two. Jeez, I think that Kragpuka is better than Noggle Bandit. I actually have no idea. I'm gonna go with the Kragpuka. He definitely hits a lot harder. If we find ourselves on defense for any reason, which is actually a real possibility. Mono red is intended to be very aggressive, but we don't have a great curve right now. So he blocks better than the Noggle Bandit anyway. Here the choice would be between Noggle Bridge Breakers, who is a 4/3 for 4. We have a ton of 4 drops or higher though, so he's. I'm not going to be pleased if I take him here. Flame Jab is another option, and I think it's much better for our deck. So that's the tentative pick here, assuming this card's not insane, because I don't actually know what it does. Yeah. Not enough is what it does. Scourge. This one's not very good either, it doesn't look like. I wouldn't be super excited to play it even on, I don't know, a red-white creature that I don't have yet other than this one. So and here, yeah, pretty much the only clear playable for our deck is this Riverfall Mimic, who is mostly just a grizzly bear, but that's totally okay. It's a grizzly bear that we can enable currently with Crag Puka and potentially some other things on the wheel. So we've ended up with quite a few playables at this point. Let's see, this is 27 with still with these 4 blue cards. Or blue-white cards, but not completely out of the question that we would still play some of these, but I think it's pretty unlikely at this point. I'm going to go ahead and hide them. And that's still with this, which I don't really want to play, and this, which I don't really want to play. What do you got for me? This guy blows up some artifacts. This guy is a Wither Bear, which is fine. And then this 4-drop dude. 4-drop dude who enables our Riverfall Mimic. We have so many expensive guys. And this is like a threaten with upside. I think I'm just going to take the bear. Another Riverfall Mimic. Ooh, or a Battlegate Mimic. We actually have even fewer ways to enable the Battlegate Mimic, so I think Riverfall is going to be the way to go. Sure, we might actually lap that first Bridge Breaker, so that'll give us an extra way to turn it on. This card, Double Strike, sure, that's not super great. Yeah. And we lap the Heartlash thing. Wait, this is not actually the lap pack, what am I talking about? Anyway, there is a Heartlash thing, and the Heartlash thing is pretty good. This card, I think, is also very good. More of a sideboard card. I don't think you can get away with main decking this, although with everything being hybrid colored in this set, I think pretty much everyone is going to have some permanents that are blue and or white. I think we just want a 2-drop though. I could very well be very, very wrong about that. I don't have enough experience with this set and with that card to know if that card is actually like crazy good or just sort of good. I don't think we'll play Manamorphose or any of the cards in this pack come to that. So we can cut that. I think we can safely cut this dude at this point. This would be the deck so far. Maybe if another playable would be sweet, because I think we want to play 16 lands in this deck. Maybe not actually. With 2 Flame Gems, I think we probably are good with 17. I I don't think we actually want the double cleave. I'm just gonna take the blocker here. What kind of work does Scuttlebutt do in our deck? Ramps, obviously, that's kind of cool, but makes it so that certain creatures can't block our hill giants. But other than that, he doesn't actually enable a whole lot. That's fine. Scuttlebutt is... You can always find cool things to do with the Scuttlebutt. This guy is a Sea Snid. I don't know. I'm just looking for cards to hate draft at this point. I don't think our deck actually wants that 1/2 flyer guy. Sure. This card's actually pretty good if somebody finds the right target for it. Sadly, none of the blue-red cards that we opened wield, so... The Riverfall Mimics just have each other and a Crag Puka to enable themselves, but that's okay. Their job is mostly just to come down on turn 2. There's this. If I am really serious about this enabling Riverfall Mimic thing, could rare draft a Sanity Grinding. That card's probably good in Modern, right? Yeah. I doubt I'll play this or ever feel a need to board it in. Huh. These cards are actually all pretty good. I think that's probably the most annoying of them for me, though. Sure, I will probably main deck this card. That's awesome. This... I don't know what circumstances I would ever actually board this in. There probably just aren't any. No, I really can't think of any. If there was like a serious board stall and I knew the game would go late and I would get my Mimics into play and I wanted to... What am I even saying? No, that's not a thing that's ever going to happen. And Idle Thoughts wraps it up. I'll skip the deck building segment. I pretty much just have the deck built already. I'm either going to play it as is or figure out one card to cut. But I'll see you guys in round 1.